Hey, morning peeps. So yeah, Nintendo just released their final trailer for Tears of the Kingdom. So I thought that I'd try my hand at doing an analysis video, try to point out all the interesting tidbits that I can find. And if you notice that I forgot anything or have insight about anything that we're seeing, feel free to comment in the comment section below. Okay, that shot reminds me so much of that concept art from the A Link to the Past instruction booklet. Basically the one from the Golden Land with the Triforce and the sun in the distance. I wonder if it's on purpose. And it also makes me think that maybe the Sky Islands are somehow connected to the Sacred Realm or Golden Land. And I'm actually wondering if when Eiji Aonuma put an emphasis on the fact that golden trees were only on the Sky Islands, it might be it might actually have a link to the concept of that golden land that was talked of in A Link to the Past. And for those who don't know, the Golden Land is actually another name for the Sacred Realm, where the Triforce was kept hidden. Yeah, a couple of islands with a construct fighting a choo-choo, ranger construct just minding his own shit, and Link coming crashing. It's a detail, but I love how his clothes are moving in the wind. Oh, here, I'm pretty sure that's at Tenno Village. It seems like there's some kind of new fashion trend. People are wearing mushroom clothing, so I'm really wondering what that's all about. This shop that was the armor shop in Breath of the Wild is actually covered in mushroom. People have mushroom hats. It's really interesting. Are you going to be able to buy those mushroom hats and wear them yourself? Maybe it's just a kind of a publicity stunt from the shop. Maybe the shop is now a mushroom shop. This gets me super excited, actually, because this is a central square in Hyrule Castle town, and it's we can see a lot of tents with the Hylian crest on them, so we know that they're allied. Could this be a glimpse of the construction system? Rebuilding Hyrule is going to be a big theme in that game. It would be amazing if you could actually partake in it as a player and rebuild some parts of the kingdom. Maybe it's like stage one of the construction, so you could have different stage of construction. So you establish this small camp and then bring materials, and like the Tarry Town side quest from Breath of the Wild, it would grow, and they would add houses, wooden houses, then stone houses, and eventually maybe recreate the old castle town how it would have been in before Breath of the Wild, so in Age of Calamity. That would be amazing. Here, it's clearly Kakariko Village. We can see one of the Zone ID Swirl's weird energy thing that some people think might be the new shrines for this game. We also have a big donut lifesaver thingy stuck in the mountains. It looks like it might be something that fell from the Sky Islands. Maybe you'll be able to use the recall power to bring it back to the sky with you. That would be great. I don't know what's the limitations of the recall function. Is it only reserved for small objects, or can it be even buildings? It has a lot of crazy potential if you can move buildings or stuff that big. Okay, this is clearly Link running out of Typhlo runes. So Typhlo runes, it's that big dark place that was completely engulfed in darkness in Breath of the Wild. It seems, from what we've seen in previous trailers, that the darkness is actually gone. I'm really eager to explore it more thoroughly. Okay, that is exciting. A lot of people have started speculating online about it. It actually shows some kind of huge structure rising up from the sand in the Gerudo Desert. It might be the Arbiter's Ground, one of the dungeons from Twilight Princess, because in Breath of the Wild there was a location that was called Arbiter's Ground, and it is kind of in a similar area, but it was just pillars in the sand. It was not a big Colosseum like it was in Twilight Princess. It's definitely an indication that dungeons might be coming back and that they will be rising from the ground or hidden underneath the land of Hyrule. So this is another cool shot. We see the castle rising with the Sheikahs looking at it from a distance, and they seem freaked out, understandably so. We see also a lot of debris falling from the sky. That might be after Ganondorf has breached the sky barrier. We'll see that scene a bit later. Here, that big guy with the dreads, the flame dreads. A lot of people are thinking it might be Demise from Skyward Sword. I think it's actually Ganondorf, but Ganondorf being rehydrated. So this might be a middle step between mummified Ganon and then rehydrated Ganon. So we would see the power of Demise engulfing him and kind of regenerating his skin and everything. And that scene would probably link directly into the one of the Ganondorf reveal at the end. Here we see Link trying to catch Zelda while she's falling. We've already seen this scene in a couple of trailers, but this time around she's actually using something. I don't think she's consciously using it, but there seems to be some kind of power waking up inside of her. What might that be? A lot of people speculate that it might be the Triforce of Wisdom awakening within her. But a lot of other people are actually thinking that it might be one of the tears of the kingdom. Since her fist is closed, a lot of people believe that she actually found the tear in the underground when they found Ganondorf. So she would have found that tear, held onto it, and while she was falling, the power within it would awaken, and she would be able to do special magic stuff with it. Right now we've seen this kind of light be linked to time travel or manipulating time. This is very interesting because it's an underground. It looks like it's a volcano area, but it's not just an underground. There seems to be like man-made constructions in the background. I don't know if they're zonai. Is it a city built in the structure? Is it under that mountain since it's a big volcano? It kind of looks similar to some kind of fire temple from Ocarina of Time. So okay. Floating boat, basically an airship. I do believe that is a Rito airship. We can see there's a bird talon on the sail. We can see also there's a big bird head on the front, so that might be a Rito tech kind of ship. That is interesting. So yes, we can see Link jumping into a water bubble. There are a lot of gameplay implications in there. There's a lot of things that it could mean actually. We can see Link doing a small floaty animation inside of it. So this might be a first indication that we will have underwater levels in the game. A lot of people think that because he's starting to float a little bit, it doesn't mean that there's going to be underwater navigation. But when you were a bit under the water because you jumped from very high, for example, Link would automatically comes up. He would not float, he would not have any animation, it would just like reappear on the top. Here, he's staying in the water for a while and he's slowly rising up. It's a big difference, and it kind of made me think that yes, we will have underwater navigation in the game. Okay, that is the Mission Impossible level. So Link is falling through lasers with a super cool flying squirrel suit. I'm not sure where that is, but if I had to guess, I would probably guess that this is the big hole in the Yiga clan hideout. The place where you fought Master Koga and he fell to his to his doom in the big hole. I would love for it to be it, because I think we all tried to go down that hole and ended up dying because we couldn't reach the bottom. If that is some kind of well that leads you there, and you can actually see where it leads and have maybe an underground level over there, it would be amazing. That is a gacha machine. You're gonna get capsules or bubble gum, I don't know. What you're gonna get from that, I have no idea. Maybe these are, I don't know, orbs that you can use for puzzle solving, and that is the way you can replenish if you lose it to avoid walkthrough breaks. Puzzles, yay! That is definitely the Lomé labyrinth. A lot of speculation has been going around the fact that they might have risen from the ground, because we've seen them in previous trailers and gameplay demonstration. We've seen these big cubes in the air floating, and a lot of people believe that those are the labyrinth. How have they changed? I have no idea, but seeing how deep they go way deeper. I believe that there's going to be more level and that they're going to be pretty different. Okay, that's super cool. You see Link doing some kind of weird twirly thing with a big lance, but the real cool thing is that there's a lot of alien people fighting creatures. And who are they? What are they doing there? Is going to be extremely interesting to figure out. One of my theories is that you can actually recruit them and have them fight alongside you in the game. And something that would be cool is, for example, we mentioned earlier that you could be rebuilding Hyrule. Maybe you start reconstructing Hyrule and the people are there. If you recruited enough people to defend that place, then they're able to fend off the monsters that are attacking. If you didn't have enough people in there, the new settlement is alone without defense. It gets destroyed by the monsters and you need to rebuild it again. I've got no idea who Goatman is, but looks amazing. On the left, we can see a bird talon. It probably means that it's a Rito. And we can see a small glowy green thing attached to the talon. People are saying that this is a tier of the kingdom, and it's the same that we see on Tulin a bit later. And on the right, that might be a Gerudo. This looks like a scimitar. I don't know if that's a flashback that shows the previous champions fighting alongside Goatman. That's a cool boss. It's clearly a boss that you're gonna fight in one of the dungeons. It's super reminiscent of Godan from Wind Waker, that big hands and face robot that came out of the wall. I don't know if it's on purpose. Well, probably, knowing Nintendo. So it's a cool throwback to that boss fight. Here, that's weird, because we can see Hyrule Castle completely reconstructed with a lot of light shining everywhere, and it seems to be in perfect state. That is a cool shot, because last time we've seen Hyrule Castle, it was completely destroyed and you had your fight with Calamity Ganon. Now it seems to be back. How is it back? Is that like a memory? Maybe time travel? Did Link use how's it called, recall, in order to make the castle live again, and that's why we see the kind of magic shinies everywhere? That could be cool. Maybe you're gonna be able to rebuild other places in the world.
Link.
Oh my god, that music is amazing. I've got shivers everywhere. Okay, so that music was amazing. One thing that I really hope is that it's not gonna be like the 2017 trailer from Breath of the Wild, so that it's got the most amazing music ever heard by a human being, but then it ends up not even being in the game. That would be really sad. I hope that's a track for a boss somewhere, or a dungeon, or a super epic chase scene, but I really hope it's gonna be in the game. So now, since I was geeking out on the music, I kind of skipped a lot of interesting elements, so let's go back. Yes, here we can see Link on his stone bird, the same that we've already seen in the December trailer. So yeah, flying stone bird. Here, that is pretty cool. We can see that Link is using... he's got a royal claymore with a royal shield fused with it. That means that now he's able to actually block and parry with a two-handed weapon, something that was not possible in Breath of the Wild. Yes, when Link parries the hit, we can see the enemy's sword shatter. So that's pretty cool. You're going to be able to break the weapons from the enemies. So yes, we have weapon durability, but it's not just the player that's going to be the victim, but the enemies as well. So that's pretty cool. Here we see the Death Star. This is a shot of a fireball rolling towards Link, but I actually believe that this is a Goron. We can see two Gorons in the back that are kind of hiding their face, and it looks like it's a trial of some kind. So that big Goron is rolling towards Link, probably for a fight like the sumo wrestling that was in Twilight Princess. Now we see Link on the top of the sail of those floating ships that we saw earlier. And he's using them to jump and kind of bounce like a trampoline alongside Tulin. That is Teba's son from Breath of the Wild. Here we see Link with a self-made carriage bringing town folks around. From a game developer's perspective, that is so bug-prone to be able to carry NPCs around like that. I wonder if this is limited to a side quest or if it's systemic. So yes, here we can see Link using recall on a boulder thrown by the Octorok, and he's using it to send it back in time right in his face. It shows that we're going to be able to use recall on for fight also, not just for navigation. That's one thing that in Breath of the Wild was somewhat problematic, is that most of the runes were used mostly for navigation and not really for other thing. They were used for puzzle and navigation, but not for fight. Like using them in fight, you needed to be like a speedrunner or a really pro player. Your grandmother wouldn't have used it for fight. Now it shows that they've got new applications that are applicable for different purposes, and that's really cool. Here we can see Link using he fused a rocket to his shield, and now he's using it to soar through the sky. That's amazing. Maybe there's a limit to its reach, but that's crazy. Here Link is using some kind of floaty animation for his jump from platform to platform. But something that is even more interesting to me is on the lower left corner you can see bubbles. And these bubbles seems to be moving. Actually, the one on the left is getting closer to the one to the right, and it looks like you'll be able to like stay in one of the bubbles, have the two bubbles collide and transition to the other one. Other thing we can see here in the back, that weird black goo that is coming from the island and going down. I've got no idea what it is, but it's not like water. We can see the water on the right, and it evaporates in the atmosphere, but here the black goo is not evaporating, it's going down. I wonder if it will go even to the ground below. That looks amazing. They stole that idea from Resident Evil 4. That is weird. It's a big construct that you made yourself. I assume that you're going to be able to create all kind of funky things. But something that I found really interesting about it, we discussed earlier the possibility of having underwater navigation. And seeing this actually makes me believe that, I don't know if you're going to be able to swim underwater, but I'm pretty sure that you're going to be able to go underwater. Because those materials, it's made of stone, and stone doesn't float. So you would probably be able to create that kind of construction, put it above water, go inside and sink with it. So create some kind of submarine. And if you've got one of those Zonai turbines or fans in the back, it could basically be a submarine that you can drive around. If I'm able to think about ways to build a submarine, I'm pretty sure that Nintendo also thought of it, and I'm pretty sure that it's supported in the game. Here we can see Link using a gem to harness the power of fire on his arrow. We already seen something similar in the gameplay presentation. Aonuma was using ice choo-choo jelly to create an ice arrow. Here we can see that you're using a gem to create a fire arrow. I wonder if the gem is going to be more powerful than the jelly. So maybe if you use a red choo-choo jelly, it's going to create a small flame. Maybe if you use a ruby, then it will create a big explosion, or maybe the radius of the flames is going to be way bigger. I can't wait to try that out. That is weird. There's this big thing that seems to have been fused together with Ultra Hand. It seems to be powered by a battery that we've seen on other construction that Link made. Link shoots at it, and bam! It creates some kind of laser tornado that kills all the bokoblins around the camp. Here we can see ourselves in a tornado. There is a big monster that comes out of the tornado. That monster is really reminiscent of the Goma, but Goma from Wind Waker. Goma has been in a lot of different Zelda games, but in Wind Waker especially, it was really looking similar to this. It had those big mandibles and claws, and it was really big. It wasn't just a spider like it was in the previous games. Here we can see Zelda with what we think is a tear of the kingdom, and if you look at the tear itself, there's a symbol on it that is carved, and if you put it in the proper direction, it really looks like it's the same symbol that is on the HUD when Link is using the recall ability. So that's why we think that it might be the tier of the kingdom that will give you that power, or that Zelda was using the recall power when she was falling in the deep pit at the beginning of the trailer. That scene is very important. We see a stream of malice rising up to the sky and kind of hitting nothing. It seems to be hitting the sky right where there's nothing, and it explodes. What I think it might be is actually Ganondorf breaching through the sky barrier. So in Skyward Sword, we learned that the floating islands and Skyloft and all that stuff was above the clouds, and it was kind of a cloud barrier that was blocking them, but it was an illusionary sky barrier. So from below, it looks like a sky, but from above, you see a barrier of clouds. So this might be Ganondorf breaking it and actually allowing the Sky Islands and the surface to kind of merge together. Here we see Link's arm getting fucked up. Link gets attacked by the malice surging out from Ganondorf, and both his arm and the Master Sword gets deintegrated. The Master Sword we know will be completely melted.
Of his new world.
That is the man Ganondorf coming back for the first time since Twilight Princess, so 2006. He looks good. That lady over here, there's a lot of speculation about who that might be. Some people believe she's Zelda. Some people believe she's Zelda that got transformed into a Super Saiyan kind of thing because she's throwing a Kamehameha wave. Other people think she's Hylia, the goddess from Skyward Sword. Personally, I think it might be Zelda, but not our Zelda. I think this is probably a previous Zelda, probably Zelda from 10,000 years ago, the one from the mural that is shown when Impa tells you the story in Breath of the Wild, and also of course a descendant of Hylia, and that's why she looks like Zelda, because all Zeldas from all the games are descendant from the previous one, and are the reincarnation or the physical embodiment of the goddess Hylia. So yeah, she's throwing a freaking Kamehameha. Riju! Sidon, my bro! That has been confirmed to be a Gleeok. The Gleeok is a boss from the first Zelda game that has come back in a couple of 2D games, but has never been seen in 3D yet. From what we've seen in the leaked TV spot, this is a flame Gleeok, and specified that is the Bridge of Hylia flame Gleeok. It kind of let us speculate that there might be other types of Gleeoks, and that there might be some of them in different spots. These will probably be our new open world boss. Not replacing, but alongside the Stone Talus and the Inox and the Moldsga.
You are our final hope.
Whew.
Link! You must find me.
Oh, I will find you. Don't worry about it. So, yeah, that was it. That trailer is amazing. From a player's standpoint, I couldn't be more excited. I can't wait to play that game. And from a developer standpoint, Jesus fucking Christ, I can't understand how Nintendo managed to put all that content into a small Switch cartridge. The amount of time and effort that it must have taken to build all that. And it's not about graphics, it's not about the textures and the polygon counts and all that stuff. It's about the game design behind everything. It's a very systemic game. So what they've done that is genius is that they built features that are all intertwined together. That was something that we saw in Breath of the Wild. You had grass, you put fire on the grass, and then because of the wind, the fire would spread, and as it spreads, it creates updraft that allows you to fly around. So that is a lot of features that talk to each other and that create different things based on how they interact together. But this time it seems to be that times 100. It's kind of a systemic gameplay on steroids. That is both, to me, extremely impressive. The fact that all these things are merged together, and it's mind-boggling to me to try to understand the amount of work, debug, and testing that it must have required to make sure all those features and systems work properly. It's crazy. It also scares me a bit, mostly because I'm a big fan of traditional Zelda games, and I feel like when games are more systemic, it's more impressive. It can be more fun on the beat by beat of the game, but sometimes it lacks some kind of depth, and it lacks some kind of emotional appeal, if that makes sense. And that's what I felt was lacking in Breath of the Wild. I really hope that they manage to make it work with Tears of the Kingdom, and that from a gameplay standpoint, the puzzles are interesting, and it's not just about breaking systems and features, and it's about like understanding the workings of all those systems. And I also really hope that the story is not a story, but the narrative is better than Breath of the Wild, because Breath of the Wild had a really interesting story and a very well thought backstory and lore, but the narrative, the delivery of that story was kind of weak and lacked some implications, because it was all memories. You were not in the story with the characters, and I really hope that they will manage to correct that in Tears of the Kingdom. So yeah, that was the analysis. I hope you liked it. If you found anything that I missed, and if you just want to discuss theories and cool ideas, comment in the comment section below. See you all next time. Bye.